Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, a firefighter heats up a dance competition, a cell tower goes up in the park, and Make-A-Wish is sending a Leonard student on a Disney cruise.
Stay tuned, learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. Dr. Rod Rock, former superintendent of Clarkson Schools, resigned last week after admitting to having inappropriate relationships with 19-year-old former student. This has sparked conversations among Oxford parents and administrators on how to prevent similar incidents in the future. Superintendent Tim Throne and Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources Nancy Latowski said the district has multiple policies and procedures in place which help deter inappropriate relationships between staff and students. According to Tim Throne, one policy includes specific training for all new employees regarding ethics, sexual harassment, and acceptable use of technology. Employees must sign off on these policies annually.
As of last week, the use of electronic bicycles, or e-bikes, will be permitted on the Pollyant Trail. The Trails Management Council voted 4-2 to allow Class 1 e-bikes. Trail Manager Linda Moran was given the authority to permit Class 2 and Class 3 e-bikes on a case-by-case basis. Trail officials plan to review the decision after 1 year. Voting to allow e-bikes council members were Bruce Pearson, Elgin Nichols, Sue Basardi, and Chairman Mike McDonald. Voting against the motion were Trail Council members Donnie Steele and Curtis Wright.
Last week, Verizon Wireless erected a nearly 200-foot cell tower at Seymour Lake Park. The tower was approved by the Oxford Township Planning Commission in 2016. It is designed to fill the sizable coverage gap that Verizon says existed locally for its customers. Under the license agreement, Verizon is paying the township over $15,000 annually for the first 5 years.
No matter what time of year, there's always a need for volunteers to help those in need. Love Inc. of North Oakland County is partnering with the Boulevard Boutique in downtown Oxford to hold a fashion show and fundraiser, which will take place on Wednesday, February 28th at the Boulder Point Golf Club in Oxford. Tickets are $35 per person or $300 per table of 10. They're available online at www.loveincofnoc.org and at the Boulevard Boutique. All proceeds will directly benefit Love Inc. of North Oakland County.
7-year-old Angelo Orlando has had a rough start in life with multiple surgeries and frequent visits to doctors. Now the Leonard Elementary first grader is about to have some major fun thanks to Make-A-Wish in Michigan. Angelo's wish is coming true, and he is taking a 4-night cruise from Port Canaveral, Florida to the Bahamas aboard the Disney Dream. Last year, Make-A-Wish Michigan granted a record-breaking 455 wishes. More than 9,000 wishes have been granted in the state since the organization's founding in 1984.
Oxford's firefighter Amanda McBride took part in a celebrity dance competition at the San Marino Club in Troy. McBride won an award at the dancing contest, which the proceeds will go to Faith in Action of Oakland County. McBride went home with the Linda Lee Young Memorial Award for the highest combination of judges' scores and audience votes. Congratulations.
Oxford resident Matt Smith seems to be the go-to guy for the end-of-life preparations. Smith is a 45-year-old licensed funeral director, embalmer, and restorative artist. He spent part of January in the Caribbean using his skills and talents on the body of a former president of Trinidad, George Maxwell. Maxwell served as Trinidad and Tobago's president from March 2003 to March 2013. He passed away after suffering a heart attack on January 7th. He was 86 years old. This was the second time Smith was called in to care for one of the nation's former leaders.
That's it for Oxford News this week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories and others, pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, catch us on our website, occtv.org, on YouTube, and of course, your regular cable channels, Charter Channel 191 or AT&T Channel 99.
And coming up soon, John Ochins with the school news and OCTV's very own Cody Wright with the sports report. And you won't want to miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Terry Stiles. Thanks for watching Oxford News this week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, the CRISPR genome editing method may have just become even more powerful. Yuri David Akavia's team at McGill University in Canada has managed to repair mutations in 90% of target cells using CRISPR, the best success rate yet. The CRISPR approach is very good at disabling genes, but using the technique to fix them is much harder because it involves replacing a faulty sequence with another. This typically works in less than 10% of target cells. To make the process even more efficient, Akavia's team physically linked the replacement DNA with the CRISPR protein that finds and cuts the faulty sequence. This ensures that the replacement DNA is there, ready to be slotted in once the cut is made. We've taped the replacement text to the scissors, says Akavia. The team also used a polymer called polyethylenamine to target the protein DNA complex directly to the nucleus of the cell, so less goes to waste. The highest efficiency rate reported by other teams exploring similar approaches so far is 60%, so Akavia's method could be a big step forward. It now needs to be tested in a wide variety of cells to confirm it is generally applicable. If confirmed, the technique could be useful in treating or preventing essentially all inherited diseases from cystic fibrosis to Huntington's, and that is good news. And on the space front, for the first time, U.S. spaceflight startup Rocket Lab has launched its Electron rocket into orbit. The rocket lifted off from the firm's New Zealand launch facility on January 21st and put 3 small satellites into orbit. During Electron's first flight test in May, the rocket was destroyed when operators lost contact with it and ended the flight before the craft reached orbit. Now that Electron has reached orbit and deployed satellites, Rocket Lab may be able to begin commercial operations in earnest. The 3 satellites Electron carried into orbit are all Earth observers and are approximately the size of loaves of bread. Such small satellites will be the bread and butter of Rocket Lab's customers. The Electron rocket is designed to launch relatively small payloads at once, allowing less expensive launches that don't require tiny CubeSats to hitch a ride, that is, with more expensive, bigger probes. Because its purpose is not to carry heavy payloads deep into space, Electron is relatively small. It's about 17 meters tall and can carry up to 225 kilograms into low Earth orbit. For comparison, SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket is 55 meters tall and can lift about 22,000 kilograms into orbit. A launch aboard Electron is relatively cheap at $4.9 million per flight. A Falcon 9, however, cost customers upwards of $60 million. In our last story, one of the world's smallest and cutest wild cats on the road is on the road to extinction, even though it is more resilient than most species. Guineas, also known as cocods, live in Chile and are the smallest cats in the Americas. They can weigh as little as 2 to 2.5 kilograms. That's half the size of most domestic cats. Guinea populations are in decline, and there could be just 10,000 adults remaining. That's half the number of lions left today. Nicholas Galvez at the University of Kent in UK and his colleagues set out to find out what's causing the decline. Using questionnaires, camera traps, and remote sensing, the team found that the biggest threat to Guineas is a change in the way farms are owned. Larger farms are being sold and split into smaller farms, bringing more people onto the land. Unlike their bigger cousins, jaguars, guineas seem to be able to tolerate the loss of up to 80% of their habitat. They can even live on intensive farmland. However, as farms become smaller and human populations increase, people may persecute the guineas more. While the cats are most happy catching moths and rodents, they also have a taste for chicken, so people kill them to prevent attacks on their poultry. Of their farmers surveyed, 10% admitted to killing guineas. Having more people on these smaller parcels of land also means more pets like domestic dogs and cats. These larger predators can outcompete the pint-sized guineas, contributing to localized extinctions. The results show that the guinea is able to withstand a certain amount of habitat loss, but requires patches of forest to remain in agricultural landscapes for it to survive in the long term, says Galvez. It also shows that we cannot discard intensive agricultural lands as important conservation areas, he says. Galvez suggests focusing conservation efforts on the largest farms and incentivizing landowners not to subdivide their farms. Poor little cat. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Do you love your community? So do we. Tune in our community access Monday through Friday, 9:30 and 1, and again at 7, Saturday at 9:30 and again at 7:30, and Sunday at 7. From new businesses to special events and everything in between, join the station that cares about our community.
I'm John Ochins, and welcome to the Oxford Wildcats School Update. There's been a lot of talk at Oxford schools lately about hooking up with a virtual charter school. This possibility has been discussed at a couple of board meetings. The goal is to open up an opportunity to offer educational options we don't have right now. Jill Lamond is leading the charge on this one. I asked her why this.
So we can only offer our programming, and right now I'm talking about cyber, but also school of choice for our brick and mortar as well, to those students in contiguous counties. A cyber charter school has the option of being statewide, and they have the opportunity to address the needs of students all over the state of Michigan. We cannot do that at present. We do not have that reach. And so it's a way for us to explore that market and to explore delivering education to students all over the state of Michigan.
She emphasizes that this would not be in competition with OVA.
Absolutely. So in conversations with the OVA team and in working, closely with them, it's very clear that what we offer at OVA is unique, is fantastic, is valuable, and is quite different than what this cyber charter could potentially offer students. It is a different model. They do not use lab-based teaching methods. The students would be essentially virtual in every way. Our students still come in and have the option of working face-to-face with a teacher or with a mentor, and also work a lot in partnership with many of our local Oxford businesses and all throughout Oakland County and our other contiguous counties are coming in and taking courses that require them to come into local businesses and to communicate with their classmates and interact. That is not what a cyber school would offer them.
And this could open up possibilities for the future.
And that population of virtual students have a tendency to sort of shift and change, with their educational goals, and it's a very fluid group of students,
right.
Enrolled students, and that's certainly an option for us. Is that if students were to come to us, they would already be aware of the Oxford name through our cyber, and would then have the opportunity to enroll with OVA.
Here's the process.
So, state law requires that we open a competitive process, a window, if you will, for any applicants who may want us to authorize a potential cyber charter with them. And so one of our applicants is a nonprofit that will be using Pearson services, but we are open as of now, today, and it's going to be listed on our website, that any other potential partners who want to come forward and are looking for an authorizer, a public school district, can submit their applications to me at jill.lemond, Lemond, at oxfordschools.org. And we would consider them just the same as we are the current application that we've received.
Jill has some final thoughts.
I think that this charter school would be a fantastic opportunity for us to better understand a different group of students, a different client base that we cannot already serve. And I think it's an opportunity that we should take.
Some happy news at the last board meeting, the approval of new school buses. Assistant Superintendent of Business and Finance, Sam Barna, reacts.
We did, and we're so excited. Obviously, part of the bond proceeds that we will be receiving in June, part of those dollars we budgeted for buses, for obviously brand new buses. And so we were proud that yesterday we were able to obtain board approval for the purchase of 12 brand new buses that we should be ordering by the end of this month from the State of Michigan School Bus Purchasing Program, sponsored by the Michigan School of Business Officials. So these are competitively bid buses, and there is 12 of them that we'll be purchasing. 71 passenger buses, 65 passenger buses, as well as 53 passenger buses as well. And so 12 total. And so the purchase price is slightly under $975,000, which is fantastic. We actually budgeted $1 million for 10 buses. So we're going to be getting, obviously, for less than $1 million, 12. And so we have an additional amount of money in the bond in the next 2 years to purchase up to $500,000 of additional buses. So this is the first large purchase, but this isn't the final purchase using bond proceeds that we will be receiving later this year and subsequently over the next 6 years when we sell the additional series of bonds.
Middle school 8th grader Luke Farwell is receiving honors for some artwork from the 2018 Scholastic Arts and Writing Competition. He tells us more about that.
Well, I submitted 2 pieces of a model that I drew from in my art class. It was a drawing of, his name is Richard, he's the model. There was a summer art intensive that I did, and that's one of the pieces I drew was of Richard. And then this, I think it was like a month ago, I drew another piece of Richard again, because he's usually our model, and those are the 2 pieces I won for.
Who encouraged you to do this?
Actually, it was the kind of like part my mom and my dad. They kind of wanted me to do it because I didn't really play sports when I was young, and I didn't really have anything to do, like run for, do contests because I didn't really like sports. But my art teacher and my 2 art teachers that I had for my college classes and high school classes, they said I should do it.
There were over 6,500 entries. Only 1,000 were chosen. Luke has been enrolled in special weekend art classes at Stony Creek since he was a 6th grader. Way to go. That's the Oxford School Update for this week. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
Hi, it's Connie from Connie's Kitchen. I just wanted to remind you to watch us on OCTV and Uverse and
Okay, cut.
This is Connie from Connie's Kitchen at Treetop Lodge, reminding you to watch my program on OCTV and on Charter and
Cut.
Hi, it's Connie from Connie's Kitchen here at Treetop Lodge, reminding you to watch us on OCTV and YouTube and Charter and...
Alright, cut. I think you forgot your lines, Connie.
I don't have lines.
Should have called lines.
Lines, there we go. Lines. Okay, 3, 2, 1, me.
Here we go. 3, 2.
Join me here at Treetop Lodge. This is Connie from Connie's Kitchen, reminding you that you can watch us on OCTV and YouTube, Charter Channel 199, Uverse Channel 99. Can you imagine if we had to go through this every time? Yeah, right? Okay, see ya. This is Connie from Connie's Kitchen here at Treetop Lodge, and I want to remind you to join me here at the Lodge for Connie's Kitchen on OCTV, on YouTube, on Charter Channel 199, on Uverse Channel 99, and enjoy the show.
What's going on, Wildcat fans? Cody Wright here once again with the Sports Report. Well, we have a lot to go over this week, so let's not waste any time and dive in and check it out. So, first off, the Oxford and Avondale United boys hockey team took on Shrine at the Detroit Skate Club on Monday in the rescheduled game from last week. It was a great night to be a fan. The boys played outstanding all around, offensively and defensively. Goaltender Aaron Angelo had a shutout, and the game ended in an early minutes of the third period in a mercy 8-0. It was a great day for Oxford hockey, that's for sure. The boys swim and dive team took on Stony Creek on the 18th and added yet another win to their perfect record of 5-0. The final score of the meet was 106-80. And also the girls basketball club went on the road on the 23rd and tipped off against Birmingham Groves. The freshman team started the night off strong with a win of 31-11. However, both JV and varsity couldn't keep up the composure and both fell to Groves, JV 39-19 and varsity 49-20. And last but certainly not least, boys and girls bowling teams both competed in the Oakland County Championships last week. The boys, being defending champs of 2017, sent nearly their whole team to defend the title. The event was held at Cherry Hill North in Clarkston on the 14th. In the end, Oxford captured the title once again against Farmington. The final score was 429-381. So congratulations to the whole team all around. Congratulations to Jimmy Demmel, the first game tossing the first 9 strikes, and Christian Kartner, who also earned honors with a strong 247 game. And like I said, the girls bowling team was also competing for the championship. They were at Astro Lanes on the 13th along with 27 other teams. Last year the girls finished second behind Waterford Mott. This year, hoping to take the number 1 spot, it was down to 1 shot. Washington tossed a good shot but didn't quite cut it, and the Wildcat girls were declared the Oakland County champs. Congratulations to Claire Sandstrom for her top 10 series finish and medal, and also she shot a 245 game and earned a medal for her high game. A big congratulations to all the athletes and coaches of both boys and girls bowling teams. It was a good week to be a Wildcat. And that should just about do it for this week's sports report. For any more info on these events and others, go to oxfordathletics.org. Plenty of stats and game breakdowns all right there for you at oxfordathletics.org. While you're at it, might as well check us out at occtv.org. We post all of our coverage of the games along with many other programs on our YouTube page, which can be accessed through the website. Once again, that is occtv.org. And that should just about do it for this week's report. I want to thank you all for watching and remind you to tune in next time. But until then, I'm Cody Wright, and go Wildcats.
There's a lot of history to Oxford. Hidden around every corner, deep in every crack, and sometimes right in front of you, waiting to be discovered. If you just dig a little, you'll find the great history of our beautiful town. Welcome to historic Oxford.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, days after Detroit lost out in the race to host Amazon's second headquarters, the city's mayor and the billionaire owner of auto supplier Flexengate Corporation offered a sneak preview of what will be the largest new auto factory built in the city since the 1990s. The $160 million plant will make metal and plastic parts for Ford Motor Company vehicles and is projected to employ more than 400 people when it opens in October. For Detroit, the plant represents a more realistic, smaller-scale approach to bringing jobs back to areas of the city abandoned as manufacturers left for the suburbs, other states, and overseas. This is the way we'll go about employing city residents, 400 or 500 jobs at a time, Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan said on January 22nd during a walk through the cavernous plant on Detroit's east side. The plant is about 60% complete, large pits in the concrete floor marked where metal forming presses will stand. Shahid Khan, owner of Flexengate and the NFL's Jacksonville Jaguars, said Ford urged him to consider locating the factory in the city, an idea Khan said he supported. Duggan said the city helped create the property or locate the property and will pay for training workers. Khan did not say how much jobs at the factory will pay, but he expressed support for the idea of a $20 an hour wage to break the cycle of poverty. Jobs at the plant will require more brain power and less muscle, Khan said, as workers operate automated presses and other equipment. The investment resulted from a collaboration of Flexengate, Ford, and the city to train residents to work in an automated factory. And on the energy front, according to predictions by Bank of America Merrill Lynch analysts, 40% of all car sales will be electric vehicles by 2030, reducing the need for oil as a fuel for transport. Electric vehicles will likely start to erode this last major bastion of oil demand growth in the early 2020s and cause global oil demand to peak by 2030, the analyst wrote in an emailed report. Despite strong global oil consumption helping to push crude prices higher, the rise of electric vehicles is seen as one of the biggest long-term threats to demand. Most oil companies see demand peaking around 2040, while Royal Dutch Shell said it expects to see demand peak in the early 2030s. Consultancy Wood Mackenzie said late last year that it expects oil demand growth to crawl but not peak by 2035, forcing major energy companies to shift from oil to natural gas and chemicals. Well, over at Ford, after an 8-year hiatus, Ford Motor Company is re-entering the midsize pickup segment with the 2019 Ford Ranger, which offers truck buyers some of the features and benefits they could get in an F-150, but with fewer customization options and a smaller footprint and lower price tag. The revived Ranger will be made in Michigan and go on sale next year. Ford, which introduced the Ranger at the Detroit Auto Show on January 14th, will offer only one engine option, a 2.3-liter EcoBoost mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. The Ranger will include a host of new technologies such as a standard 4G connected Wi-Fi hotspot, Ford Pass Connect, and pre-collision assist technology, as well as a number of other optional driver assist features. It will come in 3 levels, XL, XLT, and Lariat. Ford will sell 2-door Super Cab and 4-door Super Crew configurations. An off-road FX4 package will be offered across all trims. That will give drivers the terrain management system first offered on the F-150 Raptor that includes 4-wheel drive modes, that is to say 4 drive modes, normal, grass, gravel, snow, mud, ruts, and sand. The package also includes a new trail control, which acts as an off-road cruise control by accelerating or braking to maintain a set speed while traversing gravel or mountain trails. The FX4 package comes with standard automatic emergency braking. The Ranger will have a blind spot information system with sensors that can extend their line of sight to the back of a trailer up to 33 feet long. The system will be standard on the XLT and the Lariat trims. The interior includes an 8-inch touchscreen as well as 2 LCD screens in the instrument cluster. The rear seats offer